Charlie. David. Daryl. Howdy. Mike. Brother.
You're not fit.
Good words. Hey, Ronnie. Aaron. Josh Roy. Make sure the volume's up. Oh, it's way down. Give me a sound check.
You gotta say something.
Everybody hear me okay? David, Robert. Hey, John. Thank y'all. Okay. Gonna be a little different today. Here we go. Surprise.
Hi, everybody.
George has laryngitis. I can't talk because I talk too much, and the good Lord let me run into the rev limiter, so I'm gonna let Jackie talk for me.
Really, he yelled too much because he was so excited that he went a 993 at 136 on buck. That's why he's got laryngitis. Really and truly. He did a great job. But he wore himself out, really. Working on the bike, driving there, racing, and being excited. Hey, John and Chris. Miss seeing y'all at the races. I'm going to see all kinds of people that I used to see at the races now. Hey, Tim. Tim, you just run a lot of races. Hello, Theodore. I guess this is the normal thing I'm supposed to do, right?
Say hi. Say hi to everybody.
Yeah. Hi, Steve Perry. Mark. Look, there's Ronnie Woodall. Hey, Tom. So this is Tech Talk Tuesday with Jackie. Well, kinda. I'm not going to get too technical, but I'll talk about some stuff, and then we'll do a question and answer at the end. So if you want to start thinking about what kind of questions you want to ask me that maybe we didn't talk about. Hey, Terry. Hey, Ken. Hey, Theodore. Hey, Jesse. I remember when I gave Jesse a ride over on the golf cart to pick up his parts. Hey, John. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Brenda's here. And she said, hi, Jackie and Chuck. I miss seeing y'all at the Hogs Gone Wild race, but see, George had so much fun he doesn't have a voice now. So, hey, Donald Shaw, longtime customer. Jim Bob. Hey, Chuck. Oh, Chris Kaysen. I don't know, better side, I don't know. We're a good team, that's for sure. Hey, Bradford. And Michael. Yes, see, Jesse remembers that. Remember riding through that bumpy grass? I about threw y'all off the golf cart. Hey, Dave.
Brian.
And Brian. Hey, Brian. Y'all are running good out there with those crazy long motorcycles. The swing arms scare me sometimes. Hey, Robert. Hey, Dave. Hello, Lee. Gosh, these are some long-time people. I watch George's Tech Talk when it's usually during my mom's time that I fix her supper. So if I get called, I have to go to my real job, which is now being the caregiver for my mother. Just a quick little update. We moved here in November with both of my parents, and then George came in January. My dad had dementia, and it got really, quickly, progressively worse, and he passed away in June. So it's just been my mom, taking care of my mom, but I've been doing everything that I can to keep her healthy. She'll be 91 in December. So, hey, John, yeah, the Cinder days, everybody still reminds us about the Cinder days, don't they, John? And hey, Ronnie Woodall, yeah, we're doing good. Scott, George, remember George from up there in Waterbury, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Raced a lot up there. But anyway, so that's my job now, is taking care of my mom. Of course, I help George as much as I can with shipping out camshafts and other parts, which has been our life for a long, long time. Thank you, Donnie. Yep, she's hanging in there. I hope I live to be 91, at least. Hey, Chris.
I'm just giving a thumbs up.
Hey, everybody. Yes, Tom, it is. But, you know, they're all we've got, so we have to take care of them. I look at it like, you know, they took care of me all that time, and if at all possible, I'm going to take care of them, and that's what good Lord made it possible for me to be able to. So, hey, Mike and Gavin Spann down in Australia. Thank you, John. We're you know how hard it is. Y'all did it too. So, we just do what we can. And hey, Ben Hatcher, I have to get used to this as a little bit of a delay, because I'm sitting here talking about it. I'm like, okay, I guess they're understanding what I'm saying. And then, boop, there y'all are.
20 seconds. About 20 seconds.
About 20
delay.
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, Donald Shaw said, you told everyone at ACD 25 years ago you were his most important. Yeah, things change a little bit, but I mean, I think at that point, you know, when things start changing in your life in different seasons, you know, you've heard it called seasons, and that's what it is. And yes, Brian, the younger generation, we got to take care of our elderly. You know, I was a teacher for a long time, and I always told the children, you know, that you have to take care of your parents, honor your parents. The Bible says so. And they've luckily taught a lot of great kids, and I tried to show them by example that, you know, it's really good to take care of your parents. So thank you, Chris. Yeah, it's a very honorable job. It's hard sometimes. I'm not going to kid you about that, but I'm glad that I'm able to do it. Hey, Raymond, I'm sorry you didn't get to go to Hogs Gone Wild. I saw you had some problems, but I know they missed you, and George was ready for you to give the prayer. Anyway, I know things happen on motorcycles and stuff. So anyway, I just thought that, hey, Stanley and Paul and Jason Grace. So I'm going to try to quit reading this screen. And when I was trying to decide what to talk about, if the numbers start dropping quickly, I'm going to change the subject because right now, you know, I try to pay attention to how many are on here. And hey, Mike, and it's something that I get asked a lot, so I thought we would just kind of go through my history a little bit and let y'all know how long George and I have been together and some of the stories and things that have happened. So hey, Larry. Oh, there's Jim Yates, too. Hey, Larry Hayes. We've been around together for a long time, too. Larry was down in Alabama, and we were in Georgia. But that's one of the things I'm going to talk about is when we were in Georgia. But just real quick, I'm English. Both of my parents were born in England, and all my family is in England. And we came to the United States. My dad brought me and my sister and my mom in 1963 for a land of opportunity. He wanted to have, you know, the best for his family. So we moved here in 1963 and moved around a lot, him trying to always find a better opportunity and a better job. And we ended up in Florence, South Carolina. And I was involved in what they called the Leaders Club in YMCA. And I would literally ride my bicycle back in the days when you could to the YMCA every day. And I didn't know that this crazy guy lived in the same neighborhood. And he was the guy with the GTO with the stick shift and loud mufflers. And my friends were always like, God, that guy is so crazy. So anyway, one day I was almost home and he pulled up next to me and we just sat there. I was on my bicycle. He was in the car. And we just talked for a little while. And then the next time I saw him, he was at the church on his Kawasaki 500 running the bases on his motorcycle. Drifting, I guess, the softball field, drifting. So I was like, that guy is crazy. I'm never going to talk to him ever again. And then he finished off with jumping the pitcher's mound. And I was like, that guy has lost his mind. Well, anyway, long story short, we talked a few more times. He came over to our house. My dad really liked him. And he really liked my sister too. She was older than me, but because George is almost 4 years older than me now. And she was only 2 years. But anyway, so he would come over, and I asked my dad, he asked me out on a date, and I told my dad, I said, I just this one time, let me just go, we're going to go to a movie, just one time. Well, here we are, however many years later. That was 1973 when we went out on our first date. So I knew he was always a gearhead, liked mechanical things, and my mom told me that I always picked up on things quickly about cars and noticing mechanical things. So anyway, we started dating, and we would go to the drag strip on for dates. We would just go out to the drag strip, and as time went on, we decided that we were going to try to find some cars that could be restored, not really restored, but fixed up. So we found a couple of barn cars, field cars, whatever you want to call them, and worked on them together. And that was a good way for us to stay out of trouble, because we worked on cars. And so then he said, well, I think I can race the car. So, of course, we had to start racing that car. And so about this time, I graduated from high school in 1975, and I had actually moved an hour away to Columbia, South Carolina. So when it was time to go to college, I moved back to Florence and went to college in Florence. And the deal with my dad was that I had to pay for half of my college education, and he would pay for half. So I had to get a job, or multiple jobs actually. So I worked at a Western Sizzlin', behind the bar thing, serving salads and, taking people's orders and all that kind of stuff. I worked at a jewelry store, untangling Atta-bead necklaces. If anybody's that old that they remember the Atta-bead necklaces, girls would throw them into their purse and they would get all tangled up. So I had to untangle the Atta-bead necklaces. And then my other job, George had a friend that was the manager at a Harley-Davidson dealership. So in 1977, when Harley was owned by AFM, which was, bowling balls, and bowling equipment, I worked at the Harley shop, and he hired me as back in those days, we did inventory on these cards, and whenever parts came in, you had to put them on the cards. Every afternoon when you sold parts, you had to put them on there to keep up with the inventory. So anyway, that's what I did, and I always tell people I worked at a Harley dealership when Harleys weren't even cool. But it taught me a lot about parts and about how different parts that they needed. Our dealership was in Florence, South Carolina, which was on the way to Myrtle Beach. So Bucks Harley-Davidson.
That's funny.
And they had a lot of traffic, and people stopping and just getting little knick-knacky stuff. But anyway, I learned a lot about motorcycles. The whole time George and I were going to the drag strip. And so then we took a trade-in on a guy wanted a Harley, and he traded in a 1973 Z1 Kawasaki stock. Well, about this same time, George had been, we sent off for the IDBA rulebook, and he was learning about that. And then he started looking at the records, and he said, I can go that fast on one of those motorcycles. So he bought the 1973 trade-in that we had at the Harley shop, and we joined IDBA, and we went to our first race in Covington, Georgia, and it was so cold. It was so cold.
26 high.
26 high. So we went there, and he ran very well, and he said, I know I can do this. But anyway, so between all those days of running IDBA, we met a lot of great people. We kind of moved our way through that to a modified class. You know, you could put a slick on it, and you could have wheelie bars. And so the main thing about the whole thing was just the people. I loved, you know, being around the people. We met some really, really great people. We still have friends that we met all the way back in the early IDBA days. And then he wanted to go faster and faster, of course. Everybody knows that. You can't stay slow. So we started running Funny Bike. Back in the day, it was a little bit different. And then we started following the NMRA circuit. So that really took us a lot of different places. And this whole time, in the early days, George was working for his dad, and I started teaching school. And so he said, you know, I really want to have my own shop. So in 1978, 79, he started kind of scoping things out. And we had been going down to Georgia to these races that they called bush races that were on closed off roads that were legal, but that was the original Street Outlaws, no prep, just on the street with homemade Christmas trees and people literally lining the road. And it was a lot of fun. And one of the places that they had them was in Americus. So we had been to Americus, and from South Carolina, we'd been Eatonton. You guys that have done this, you kind of recognize these places. Down in Macon, Montezuma, all these places. So we literally made a map of Georgia, and we started putting dots where we could go. Of course, we always looked at Atlanta. And anyway, the way all the things lined up, we ended up in Americus, Georgia, and some very good friends of ours that we met up in, I think it was a race in Washington, D.C.
IDBA.
Originally. Charles and Tracy Israel lived in Smithville, which is right near Americus, Georgia. And Charles said, man, that would be great. Come down here and, you know, I can help you at night. He's a farmer. And Tracy and I were both teachers, or going to school for teachers at that point. So anyway, it was a great match. And so we go, George literally just threw his keys over the fence, parked his truck inside from working for his dad in mechanical contracting business, and said, I just, you know, I want to do my own thing. And his dad said, oh, you'll be back with your tail between your legs in a year. Well, 40 years. we just moved from Americus, but we were there for 40 years, and it was made possible by a lot of great people, great customers that supported us for very, very many years. And so then the whole thing changed, of course, when we started running NHRA. We moved, you know, to the professional ranks, and you had to do things a lot differently. And when we got, and the whole time, around that time, George started teaching the Frank Holly's drag racing school. So we met a lot of really good riders, and you kind of have first round draft pick. So we, you know, saw a lot of potential in people. And one of the guys that came was Fred Collis, and he was the right size. He had the desire, the passion, and he actually moved to Americus and worked for us at Star Racing, and we decided to go on the Pro Star Tour. And while we were doing that, George was on the NHRA tour with Angel, with the Team Winston bike. So a lot of times we were gone, 2 different races, and you know, I would call him periodically for any kind of help, but he was already up to his eyeballs with everything happening there. So Fred was a great rider. Eddie Davis went with us, our parts guy. My mom went, and Julie went. Julie was 2 years old. She was born in 1997. And so it was a lot of fun. I mean, we had a lot of fun going to the Pro Star races. Fred won the championship 2 years. I think it was 99 and 2000. Everything kind of runs together in that part because
Same time on the Winston bike.
And the Winston bike too. So it was really a lot of fun. Meeting all those people, going on the road. The same time, our parts business had really taken off. To start our business, we got a Wiseco distributorship, and I had to quit teaching and do the parts business, and it worked out very, very well. Worked on a lot of people's motorcycles, did a lot of machine work, and to this day we still have a lot of those original customers that are kind of sad and mad at us that we aren't working on motorcycles. But after 40 years and this gray hair and George's gray hair,
Mine's chrome.
we felt like it was time to, take a step back and do something different, move closer to Julie. And so George got bored, of course, and he decided he wanted to design camshafts for Harleys. So he's doing that. He's loving that. He loves doing the Tech Talk Tuesdays with you guys. He is so committed to it. When he got this laryngitis, he said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And he said, I've done it every 115 times in a row. I have to keep doing it. And I said, well, maybe I can just fill in and people will want to hear a little part of our story from my viewpoint. So here I am. And I hope that kind of gave y'all a little bit of insight to our quick story from 1973 to 2021, which is a really, really long time. I think it's 48 years or something ridiculous like that. Yes, everybody is so awesome to keep, the relationships open. Of course, with Facebook, it's great. My mom is 91 years old. Her favorite thing is to go on Facebook. I'm sorry if she's blown any of y'all up and friended y'all, but she loves to tell everybody happy birthday. And since her family all is in England, it's a great way to stay in touch, just like we do here. So that has really changed the way that we can communicate with people and let everybody know what's going on. So that's kind of the quick summary of everything. So if anybody has any questions, I've kept pretty steady on my number.
You did good.
I hope I told y'all some things that you were wondering about. I know it's a little bit of a delay on asking the questions. So I'll if anybody has anything specific, and if I can't answer them, then we'll write them down. And George can answer those next week on Tech Talk. Trying to get him not to talk so much, and he's taking some throat lozenges, and I think just resting and not being wide open all the time like he is. Anybody that's been around him knows how wide open he is. So it's very hard to slow him down. But yes, Derek, I am the glue. That's what they say. Just call me, Elmer's or whatever, the glue. But I appreciate it, and I love working with y'all at the challenge. No, I can ride, but I do not ride. In fact, when I was going to college, I rode what year was that motorcycle?
75Z1.
A 75Z1 to college, and it was so loud. And but we didn't have a lot of extra money, and we had that motorcycle, so I rode it to college some, but it wasn't enjoyable to me. I like helping people. I've done a lot of helping George with his schools and that kind of thing, because really at heart I am a teacher, so I really enjoy that part of it. Let's see. Yes, I miss seeing y'all too, Greg Hancock, and thank you for telling me that was a phenomenal story. Let's see if there's anybody other questions. Let me look real quick. Thank you. I enjoyed talking to y'all. There's another one of my Simdra guys. Hey, Mike Lakoski. The Simdra days were awesome. A lot of people still talk about that. So I do miss that, but it ran its time. 10 years was long enough. So, let's see. Scott says, have you had when you had the shop, did you ever have to use, I still have to use my teacher voice on him to keep him in line. No, there's always a yin and a yang, so we've learned how to deal with all that. So let's see, somebody said, Brian said you have a huge influence, and you ever in Pro Stock, I hear y'all's name. Oh, thank you, Brian. I'm glad to see you out there. It's a little different. I know it takes a little bit of getting used to, but you hang in there. And I remember Charlie so good from the Cinder days, and his stuff always looks so nice. And I think if he hangs in there, he'll get the hang of it. And it's a lot different. Everybody always thought, oh, just put so-and-so on your bike and they won't red light anymore. And it's so different. It's such a different atmosphere, a different feel. You know, the best ET guys, that's all they talked about was putting somebody else on the bike, and, you know, they would do better. So, no, we do not ride recreationally. George does. He has a new Road Glide Special M8. We have done nothing to it. If you can believe that, George Bryce has a motorcycle that has nothing done to it. It's really pretty. It's all black, and he just enjoys being able to go ride up here in Tennessee. It's very pretty places to ride. So that's about that on that. He has actually gone down racing. No, we've had some of our drivers that we've hired fall, but the accident that George had, I'm going to preach a little bit about wearing your helmet. Everybody better wear their helmet no matter what. He was testing a bike in front of our shop in Americus, and it came up in a big power wheelie, and he thought that, okay, I'm good, and it came down, but it was so low it hit the exhaust pipe and pitched him off the side onto the road in front of our shop on his head. So that was really scary. We had just started our business. We had bills. Luckily, I was still teaching, so we were, you know, we had good health insurance, but it was very scary, and I think that taught him a lesson. Sometimes I still have to kind of remind him, don't even go test a bike, because you never know. I mean, you never know when something's going to happen. So luckily, that's the only time we've had. How long does he stay in the man? Well, he enjoys alone time. Believe it or not, he's not into partying, going out, doing stuff. So he wears his pink flamingo socks. And he just enjoys watching movies. That's his escape. He goes into the movie, literally. I don't know whether any of you guys had that feeling where you were part of the movie, but he's a very creative person. Y'all don't know this, but he can draw really, really well. His palette has always been motorcycles, so when he designs the motorcycles or designs an engine, it's like an artistry to him. So that's what he uses his talent for. Isn't that right, honey?
Thank you, sweetheart.
Yes. He likes to do that, and he is on the internet a lot. And but movies are his real big deal. And he even likes going, I didn't know I could talk that long. So anyway, yes, George has socks. No, I don't do the sock thing like George does. I'm boring. My kids used to keep me busy on everything. I didn't have time. Okay, so he's very lucky. He got you instead of your sister. Thank you very much. My sister's awesome too. She ended up being one of the first women to graduate at Clemson University, the first female to graduate with an agricultural engineering degree. And she got some kind of special thing with IBM to learn about computers. And then in the 80s, they decided women shouldn't be working with computers. Anyway, y'all look it up. It's really interesting. But anyway, she's a great sister. Okay, let me see. One other thing. Safer than laying on his head. Yeah, I think you teach in school. No, because it costs so much money with the upkeep of the motorcycles. He enjoyed it a lot. And how many people? 500 people, probably?
Yeah.
Or more?
Yeah. 23 years.
And we enjoyed that part of it because both of us like to teach, but maybe some seminars and doing something like that.
Richard too, godly.
Did you see Richard?
Yeah, he went on there twice.
Sorry. Hey, Richard. Richard. We've known Richard for a really long time too. Let's see, Stanley. He has not even put a 30-30 in it, Stanley. Can you believe it? He really...
Come help me. Come help me.
You come help him, he said. Bring Colin. Y'all can do it in 30 minutes. I know you can. But he just just wants to keep it stocked. Let's see. Yep, Mike, the KX80, wasn't it? Or the behind the school in Florence, I'm telling you. John, it was great to see you two and Tony Mullen. All these people are just, back in the day, did you ever tour to see of his animal? Yes, I have been there twice. It was quite an experience. That's all I'll say about that. You're welcome, Jesse. I really enjoyed it. Yes, that is true, Brian. My sister did not go to NASA, but the women did do the computers. But she's on that Mighty Girl website. She looks at that, and she had talked a little bit about her involvement with the computers in the early days, because that was like in 1979. So I'm real proud of her for that. But thank y'all. I mean, I'm glad you felt like it was special. I'll try to think of some other stuff. Maybe I know I skimmed over so much stuff, but anyway, that's it. Y'all, thank you so much. George really enjoys doing this. He looks so forward to it every week. And no, Julie did not ever want to race. She did the drag racing school at Frank Holly's in a car. It was okay, but she wanted to do it more of like the business and how the experience of it. So, but she didn't care anything about racing, except she loves doing social media stuff, and she's been helping us. So anyway, thank y'all. I don't want to go too far over, but we'll write down some of these questions, and maybe George can answer it, and maybe every now and then I'll pop in here and talk to y'all and answer some questions. So thank y'all so much. God bless everybody. Take care of each other. Be nice to each other. And please take care of your parents and be happy if you have them. They're very special blessings from God. Thank y'all so much. Bye.
Amen. Bye-bye.